Hey, guess what? I'm excited to announce our new knit along starting May 19th. We're going to cast on the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. This is a simple but elegant and beautiful cardigan sweater that'll be your go-to to layer with anything in your wardrobe. That's totally what I need. I'm knitting it in a neutral color, well, kind of a neutral color, but I wanted a cardigan that I can use over any color t-shirt, turtleneck, collared shirt, anything in the spring, fall, and winter. So basically, my new favorite 3-season go-to cardigan piece. All right, what follows here is an interview with my good friend Rebecca at Needlepoint Joint in Ogden, Utah. They have graciously put together some yarn that we can use with this, and so she's going to give us more information about that. But one thing you need to know right away is go download your pattern. There is a 25% discount that Alicia has graciously given to us from now until May 20th. So go download your pattern, use the code JANA25, lowercase JANA 25 to get 25% off any of the Campside patterns. So JANA25 will get you 25% off any of those. There's 5 or 6 different patterns, including a child size and a shawl, in different variations on the Campside theme. So thanks so much to Alicia for that. Later in the week, we'll have a podcast interview with her as well, so you won't want to miss that. But coming up right now is my talk with Rebecca at Needlepoint Joint and how you can get kits for this new knit along. I'm here on the podcast with Rebecca from Needlepoint Joint in Ogden, Utah, my favorite local yarn store, which is not incredibly local to me, but I will drive. So, yay! So we've done a couple projects together before, and we hosted, as most of you know, we hosted our retreat last fall in Ogden and had a fantastic yarn store party with Rebecca and her fellow people at Needlepoint Joint, and it was fantastic. So we'll be there again this fall for our retreat and being able to see you guys in person. But for now, we have a fantastic project that we want to tell you about, our next knit along, which involves Rebecca and the wonderful folks at Needlepoint Joint. Go ahead and tell what you do at Needlepoint Joint and tell us about the fantastic sweater you have on.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Rebecca, and I'm the knitting coordinator here at Needlepoint Joint. So my job, and it's a tough job, is literally to buy yarn.
Yay!
Make sure that our shelves are stocked with cool stuff so that when people come in, they have all the stuff they need for their projects.
That's a dream job. The knitting coordinator, that's a dream job.
It is a dream job. I've been preparing for this for a lot of years because I buy yarn so well.
And you get it, pet it, and
yeah, I get to touch it and see all the new stuff, and it's probably, I can't even imagine a job better than this.
That's fantastic. And that unicorn sweater is amazing.
Oh, thank you. So a lot of us, we love tin can knits around here. And when they came out with the Strange Brew sweater,
right.
I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. But I need to make it my own. So I decided, because, I'm in my 40s, I need a unicorn sweater. So a unicorn sweater it is. And if there's anybody out there in their 40s who doesn't need a unicorn sweater, I don't need to know them.
I would love that in a cardigan.
Yeah. It was really fun. I found a little chart with the unicorns on it. And then sat there and just charted the whole thing out and crazily thought, oh, I can do 3-color Fair Isle for this, and then realized I don't ever want to do that again, but it was great for this.
That's amazing. What is the body? What's the kind of speckly?
This is it's a Dream in Color yarn.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it was one of their skein clubs a few years ago, and I had a bunch of it in my stash, and so I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect, and so I just found some coordinating dark colors and went with it.
Great, because you're the boss. That's awesome.
While being the shop's resident unicorn, I've got to represent.
You're you're magical. I want to say this knit along that we're starting, you guys have pulled some magic behind the curtain. I'm just saying. I talked to Tracy who set up the website, and she's got all that going for us. And I'm like, you're the wizard behind the curtain. You all are. And I'm so excited about this. So speaking of cardigans and sweaters, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, it's been kind of crazy here because it's just 3 of us in the shop right now, and our doors are closed to the public. So when you called, we're like, we can do this. And it just like all worked out. It was magic.
And I'm like, okay, is this real? Is this really going to be this easy? And you guys are pulling some magic, and I'm like, oh, it's going to work.
Well, it's because we're unicorns.
You are. So speaking of cardigans, we're super excited. We're going to be knitting together the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer, an amazing designer. She has some fantastic patterns. Go check her out on Ravelry. I'll put the link down below. But for this one, the Campside Cardigan, I picked it because, well, several people had suggested it in our patron group. The patrons vote on our knit-alongs, and several people had either already had it marked in their favorites or had it, even somebody already has started it on the needles but not gotten very far yet, so it's kind of cool. And we picked it because it's, I guess the hashtag right now is size inclusive, and so I like that because I'm not a small person. So it comes in a huge variety of sizes, so that's amazing. And I'm not in my 40s, so I'm like needing a cardigan for the layering purposes because I have my own personal summer that happens randomly, and then I have winter, and this can happen in an hour. So I need the layering, so that's why I really like cardigans right now at this season of my life. Right? Okay, you're not there yet, but...
Oh, no, I'm there too.
Okay, but so you see what I'm saying. So I'm really loving the cardigan option. Yeah. I have looked briefly at the pattern. I don't think we have to mess with buttons or anything. I mean, you can if you want, but I don't really like, those. I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger around than I would measure because I want to be able to overlap it maybe and put in a pin, like I use a shawl pin or some kind of a Class B Viking looking thing, or I don't know. But I want options. I want to have options. So
yeah, I love the silhouette of that cardigan because of the way it works. I have cardigans like that, and it just does something. Like it just gives you a little extra that maybe you don't actually have.
And I don't need extra. I have plenty of my own. I mean, I would like to give some to someone else, but just saying. You guys have some fantastic options for yarns and kits that you've magically put together on short notice with lots and lots of price range budget choices that will fit with whatever size people are going to order. So you're going to explain to us how our knitters would go to your website and how they can decide how much they need.
Okay, well, it's really simple. So there's 2 choices of kits, and we've gone with 2 different yarns. The first one is from Urth Yarns, and it's their brand new Monokrom DK. It's gorgeous. I love the Urth Yarns, and I love just the company and what they stand for. And this yarn is so new, I don't even have it in the shop yet, but all of their yarns are just gorgeous. And
they've been fantastic to work with. And like you said, I like what the company stands for. We'll put links down below where you can read about their mission statement and what their company's about and how they plant trees and all these things. You can read about that.
Yeah.
But it's a brand new yarn.
I love that they support women. I love that they support the planet. And I love that they make beautiful and good quality yarn. So.
Right. So we don't have it yet, but I'm getting some in the mail. They are willing to drop ship to me, and they're willing to drop ship to you. So there won't be a big delay because the yarn is not going to go to Rebecca first and then be mailed to you. It's going to come straight from Urth Yarns because they've been wizardry and magical to work that out for us as well. So there won't be a delay is the point. You'll order through Rebecca because that's the avenue with which we're making this work, but it'll come straight to you from Urth Yarns.
And we'll be placing orders daily. So if your order comes in every day, I'm going to be sending those off to Urth Yarns, and they have a really quick turnaround time, and they've been fantastic with drop shipping.
Right. So tell us, and when I looked at the website, the colors, and they're tonal, and I'm excited.
Yeah, they're all tonal hand paints. But they range from, there's like 5 really good neutrals, and then like these 7 amazing, just beautiful pops of color that you can really work into your wardrobe. So
yeah,
I loved them. So the other option that we have, this is kind of a shop favorite because not only is it easy care, but it comes in lots and lots of colors and it's affordable. And I know with everything going on, there's a lot of people out there who maybe are struggling. It's just kind of the world today. So this is Barocco Vintage DK.
right.
And it's a really easy care yarn. It's hard wearing. And we have a lot of people in the shop who love this for their sweaters.
Right.
You know, sometimes you have little kids, or, you know, you're wearing it to work every day and you need something that's going to be easy to care for and it's going to last a good long time.
Right.
The other nice thing about this yarn is it comes in 53 colors. So if you'll find a color, I guarantee it.
Well, and Tracy put all the color examples on the website so everyone can see them all right there. Yeah.
Every single color is available for these kits because, again, Barocco has agreed to work with us on a drop ship. So we will send orders to Barocco every day and they will send them out.
And I want to say Barocco is definitely a workhorse yarn. It's very durable and that's machine washable. However, the Urth yarns it's also a super wash. Now I might be more careful with how I cared for it, but it is a super wash. It's not super wash. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna use the Urth yarns for mine because I just can't get over the tonal. I just love it so much, and I want to touch the new yarn. You know, I really, really want to try it because the colors are amazing for me. I just wanted to do that, but I will not just, you know, chuck it in with my hoodies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Well, either way, you know, yes, it is. Well, here's the thing is I hand wash all my sweaters, even things that I can put on machine wash gentle. But if you do have to put it into the machine on gentle, put some wool wash in with it and lay it flat to dry, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. But I also, like you, figure I'm knitting this hours and hours and hours, and I want it to last for decades. So I'm going to do the best I can to take care of it because my time and the yarn and the effort is worth that. You know, that's a whole other, how to care for your knits is maybe a whole other podcast.
Yeah. Well, and it is. I mean, these are lifetime garments. You know, some of my grandmother's garments that she knit in the 50s are still in existence today.
Right.
You know, these are lifetime things. Yeah. So
they were cared for. They were cared. So if people want to click the link down below and go to the website, how do they find what they need when they go to the storefront? Through my link. It takes me to Needlepoint joint, and then I think you have to go up to knitting and then choose kits.
And there will be the option for the Campside cardigan, and there will be the Monokrom DK option and the Barocco Vintage DK option. So you can look in either of those, and then within that section, within each yarn listing, there is a recommendation for the number of skeins you'll need for your size.
Right.
So
based on the information in the pattern. Right.
Right. So when you go there, you'll take your sizing and you'll see how many skeins you need. You'll choose your color, put that number of skeins in your cart, and you're good to go.
Because the initial price shown is not the kit price, it's the per skein price because we don't know how many you need yet. Right.
Well, you know, sometimes you want an extra skein for insurance or, you know, maybe for swatching. And so that gives you that flexibility.
Or a matching hat.
Or matching anything, pants.
Just saying.
Yeah, it could happen.
Right. So you have lots and lots of choices. You'll put however many skeins you need in your cart and then go check out. And there is, now I will talk about the shipping. The shipping cost is because that covers the fact that you guys have worked really and amazingly and made the arrangements with Urth Yarn and Barocco. And so that shipping cost covers the fact that the yarn is coming directly from those companies and there's no delay. So that's amazing because then you'll have it in your hand in time to cast on. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we really wanted to make sure that we did was that we had yarn in people's hands for the cast on date. And, you know, it's just amazing that we're able to do this right now. which is something that we're not normally able to do. We're not normally able to call a company and say, hey, send 5 skeins of yarn to Jana in Wyoming. You know?
I'm so excited about this. And that's a real testament to your relationship with those suppliers. That's fantastic. See, you're unicorns. Really.
Well, we try.
Because that will give everyone enough time to make a decision and get your yarn in hand and start swatching. We've all talked about the importance of swatching. Don't blow it off, especially because of a sweater. Here's why you need to swatch, because even if people are like, well, I'm only 1 stitch off in my gauge, over the course of 1,500 yards, that's an exponential problem.
Yeah, it can be. It can be a huge problem. We've seen it.
Yes, please take the time to swatch.
Well, and especially since, you know, I have ample inches in which to make those mistakes.
Right. So what I want to talk about is, how do you recommend that we measure the boobage? Because we want to make the sweater fit properly, or be able to overlap a little in my case.
You definitely want to make sure that it fits your boobage.
I love that word. I don't know why.
Actually, let me grab a tape. Do you want me to demonstrate? I can grab a tape measure.
Several of us have, the zippy measures, but then the zippy ones, but then I also have, I think it was my mother's like fabric, tape measure. So you could use a string. If you don't have a tape measure that's fabric, or one of Rebecca's zippy ones, you could use, a piece of string and then lay it out and use a ruler or a yardstick or whatever. You can make it work.
The other thing you can do is you can take a garment that you know fits really well and measure across the bust line of that.
Right. Lay it out flat and make sure it's all smooth. Or your favorite hoodie. I might do that. I might get my favorite hoodie, zip it up, lay it out straight on my bed and measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the best way to measure is across the fullest part of your bust. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not going to take my clothes off for this measurement, but to wear a good, well, I could, but to wear a well-fitting garment, right, and to wear, if you're a bra wearer, and a lot of us are because we've got to, make sure that you're wearing a good fitting bra so that you're really getting that correct measurement.
Right. Yeah, don't do this in a t-shirt with no bra and yoga pants just because you can, because you're quarantined. Don't do it in your jammies. You need to wear the supporting garment that you would normally if you were going to the office and you want to wear this sweater out in the world. This isn't your schlumpy lounge at home sweater. This is a sweater that you're putting a ton of work into. So measure yourself properly.
Yeah, please do. And it'll make the entire sweater knitting experience so much nicer. So the way to do it is to take your measuring tape and bring it across the fullest part of your bust, and then read the measurement. Now you don't want to cinch it down, you don't want it to be loosey-goosey, you just want it to be right across the back, right, straight across the fullest part of your bust.
Right.
Just like if you were sewing or anything else that you would be doing to create a garment.
Right. So then take that measurement and look at your website and then see how many skeins you're going to need. Okay, so according to the pattern, if we were using an example of a person that has a 40-inch bust, for example, and you looked on the sizing, you would need to decide if you wanted to have the finished garment be 41 inches around, and it would be a little bit more fitted, or if you wanted something that you're going to layer, particularly in the winter, maybe you would have that finished sizing be 43 inches, for example, or even 47 if you live where it's really cold. I mean, I don't know. Everybody will have to decide that for themselves, depending on how big of a sweater you want or how more form-fitting.
Well, one of the things about the sweater is it looks like it's meant to be kind of left draped open a little bit.
Yeah. Which
kind of does, it gives you that little silhouette of having some extra waist that maybe some of us don't have. So, it kind of can give you that silhouette. So you may want to go closer to your bust size, but if you know you're going to be layering, give yourself a little bit of room to layer, or else it's going to be really hard to get that on and over your layers. The other nice thing about a top-down cardigan is you can try it on as you go and make sure that you're really liking the fit. And I do that a lot with top-down. I'll put it on crazily and,
Yeah.
try out my half knit sweater. And
Sure. And if you don't have a super long cable for your needles, put it on waste yarn and then put it on some worsted or whatever, even sock yarn, put it on waste yarn and try it on. It's worth doing as you go. It's absolutely worth the time it takes to put it on that waste yarn and then take it back off. Right. And we like knitting, so we like to make sure it's right. Okay. Okay. The other thing I want Rebecca to get for you to give us some advice. I've knitted a couple of cardigans and some baby sweaters, but I've never done it with very tonal hand, like kettle dyed yarn, where there's a lot, like the color that I chose, there's a lot of variance between the lighter light sections of that skein and then the dark sections. And I don't want, we've all knitted socks where you have this crazy pooling going on, and sometimes you want that and it looks cool, but I don't want that on my cardigan. I don't want crazy big splotches of dark. And then, so we need to know how to make that not happen by alternating skeins. So can you tell us some more about how to go about what you'd suggest for that?
sure, absolutely. So when you're dealing with hand painted yarns or tonal yarns, sometimes the skeins can vary from skein to skein. In fact, in this sweater I'm wearing, this was a hand painted yarn, and you could tell the difference between the skeins just by laying them out next to each other. There was a lot of difference. And you can even see here along the ribbing here where the color has pooled because I used one skein to do this ribbing, which is fine, and I was okay with that. But then along the body of my sweater, what I did was I alternated the colors. So I would have two skeins of yarn, and what I would do is each row I would switch that color and twist the skein or the yarn as I went up. So if you look inside my sweater, and this may be hard to see, but there's actually a little line where the yarn twists up the
Okay.
sleeve.
Okay.
And that way it combines the colors and it gives you a more overall effect rather than having this pooling that can change from skein to skein, because it can become a visual line where one skein has more of a color and the next skein doesn't, where it can go from dark to light or change colors entirely.
Yeah, I don't want big splotchy sections of one thing. So on a cardigan, would you, when we're knitting back and forth, so you would get one skein and knit back, knit to the knit, and then come back, and then you'd switch on the edge, correct?
Yeah.
And you would
Yeah.
just do that twisty, you just carry the second one up and you would go back and forth, change, back and forth, change, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I like to do with hand painted yarns is I like to open the skeins out
Mm-hmm.
and look at them. And, if I have, maybe half of them are a little darker than the others, I'll put the light and the dark skein together and then
Alternate.
alternate.
And then the other thing that you can do, what I'm going to do, given that information, is when I get my skeins, I'm going to open them up, decide in what order I'm going to knit them. And then when I wind them up in the cake, I'm going to put a little label or a little string tag or on the label of the yarn and go 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean? Or 1 and 1 go together, 2 and 2 go together. So I know which ones, you see what I'm saying? I'll sort that. Because I like to be organized.
Me too.
In some areas of my life, if I can.
Sometimes you can fly by the seat of your pants.
But I don't want to do that here.
No, this is not the place to do it because, like I said, it can pool quite a bit, and
Right.
you don't want a cardigan that looks like you knit it in strata or with different colors of yarn.
Yeah, or it's not an ink blot test. Yeah, the Rorschach ink block thing, like, oh, what does this look like? I don't necessarily want a sweater that is like that. So I'll show that when I get my yarn and start my preparation process. I'll show that on video and we'll help you sort out how to do that. Now, obviously, if you choose the Barocco, you don't have this issue because it should be, especially if they're all from the same dye lot, check that when your Barocco arrives, make sure all your skeins are from the same dye lot and you shouldn't have any issue.
And if they're not from the same dye lot, let me know right away.
Okay, because they should be then?
Yes, they should all be from the same dye lot.
Okay. All right. And if they're not, let Rebecca know and she can either fix that or you can do this alternating thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
The nice thing is Barocco tends not to vary too much from dye lot to dye lot.
Well, they have it down. They've got this figured out.
Yeah, but it's good advice. Like if you're knitting from stash and you've got a couple of dye lots in the same yarn,
right,
you can still alternate them and still get a nice overall effect.
Right. Cool. thanks for, yeah, this will be my first time doing that. So thanks for your advice there.
Absolutely. Just a quick note, because there are just a couple of us in the shop right now, our hours have changed a little bit, but if you need any help or you want to talk about sizing or color or just have questions about the yarn, please call us. The number is 801-394-4355. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 Mountain Time.
Right. Okay.
If we're not here or we can't get to the phone, please leave a message. We will get back to you.
Yeah. Now, would you recommend that people call, or is email easier?
You can also email. My email here at the shop is knitting@needlepointjoint.com, and I check that pretty regularly. You can also Facebook message us or send us a DM on Instagram, and I monitor those as well. So.
Oh, great. So you have a ton of color choices. Place your orders. They'll go out quickly. And then we're going to cast on May 19th. Yay!
I'll be honest, Jana, I'm hosting a knit along here for the shop, and even I'm tempted to get in on this, even though I'm already doing a knit along. I can knit 2 things at once, can I?
Of course.
I have 4 hands.
Yes, and sleep is overrated.
Totally overrated. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
So you might knit it with us. We'll see.
Possibly. I was checking my stash just a minute ago just to see, but that Urth is looking pretty good.
I'm excited. So watch my social media too, because as soon as it comes in the mail, I'm going to be like, oh, look, and I'm going to put it on Instagram, and yeah. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks for joining me and helping sort out the details. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can message me and or Rebecca, but we're going to cast on May 19th. Yay. Thanks for joining me and giving us all the details.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I've really had fun.